Welcome back. I'm Veronica Cruz here at the UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles, California. Pretty quiet day today, but on the early afternoon of Thursday, June 25th, 2009, this place was a media madhouse. Fast approaching the hospital, an ambulance carrying Michael Jackson's seemingly lifeless body. And not too far behind, a crowd of paparazzi.
We have a gentleman here that needs help and he's not breathing.
At 12:21 p.m., 911 received that phone call, and a quick 3 minutes later, paramedics arrived at Michael Jackson's home.
They're in the back of the ambulance. They are administering the medical care. They're monitoring his breathing. They don't break communication with the hospital.
At 1:14 p.m., the ambulance carrying Michael Jackson arrived at UCLA Medical Center.
They are, quickly moving into the emergency room, and they are giving a brief to the doctors on what they saw, what they felt, what they experienced.
The usually covered Michael was brought to the hospital barely dressed.
I heard that he was wearing a pair of kind of black, shiny, sort of tuxedo trousers, and that he wasn't wearing a shirt. It's my understanding that he didn't have the front of his nose and that he had to wear a prosthetic.
They brought him in on a stretcher and they put him into the emergency room. I was sitting in the chair right outside the actual room, and there was tons of activity, and they were trying to resuscitate him and save him.
The ER doctors worked on Michael for about an hour, unable to revive him. Michael was pronounced dead at 2:26 p.m. Thursday, June 25th.
A nurse came out of the emergency room and told Randy Phillips and Frank DeLeo, who were sitting right there, that Jackson was dead.
Brian Oxman, the Jackson family spokesman, got to the hospital at about 2:30, just as some of the family members were starting to arrive.
I was there for a few minutes and Randy Jackson walked in, and I went up to him and I just put my arms around him and we started to sob together. And then Jermaine Jackson came through the door. He put his arms around me and we stood again sobbing in the middle of the emergency room.
Finally, Catherine Jackson arrived at the hospital.
I saw the family in their room. They were holding hands. They weren't speaking. They were very upset. There were hugs. There were tears.
But there wasn't just family at the hospital. Brian noticed Dr. Murray in the corner.
He was absolutely glassy-eyed. He had no expression on his face. He was nervous and upset, and pretty soon he disappeared outside the door.
And outside, fans were already starting to gather, and their presence was felt inside the emergency room.
In the middle of trying to revive Michael, trying to save Michael, his music was playing from the fans, and it was so loud and it filtered into the emergency room. Just a very unreal circumstance.
When we come back, an anxious crowd joins the world in anticipation for the official news.
A team of doctors attempted to resuscitate him, and they were unsuccessful.
And across town, Michael's dancers and musicians received the devastating news.
It was just silence, and I think everybody was in shock.